Good evening, good evening, good evening. How are we doing today? I know a lot of people are just anxiously waiting for me to go live. So here we are, and we are waiting for people to populate. And how we doing today, Ms. Aaron? I got my favorite beverage. So good evening. Kind of let people know where you're coming in from as you're coming in, and we will get this showboat going. I know we have California. Looks like we have South Dakota. Well, I've had better days, but I've had worse days. So we'll just chalk it up to a absolute just a joy. So hanging in there like a hair on a biscuit or in a biscuit. Yeah, I've never heard that one before, but we have Oklahoma, we have Georgia. I know we have I think it's North Carolina. I'm starting to get used to seeing where everybody's at. So yeah, throwing a seed in, you usually just sow them in, just so you know. But yeah, so we have Georgia, we have Tennessee for sure, New York, Kentucky, North Carolina. Yeah, we have quite a few people coming in. So I know it's still showing I'm doing all right, keeping myself together. So we'll make it through. Looks like we have showing 18 people. Another North Carolinian, Pennsylvania. Yeah, kind of giving Jason a few minutes to kind of regroup himself, get what he needs to get done, and then we are going to launch into a few different things. So sometimes you just kind of do what you have to. I know that's the way it's been for me, anyways. So, yeah, the car was destroyed. So I know the outcome that we're facing is a whole lot better than what I was originally envisioning, but the prognosis is good. So I think we can chalk that up for another win for the Prayer Warriors out there. No, the driver of the vehicle was hurt as well. Some abrasion, some bruising. I was able to go out there and actually visit there briefly today. So, yeah. In fact, that's why I was running a little late. I got into town a little bit too late. Get up there. Go upstairs. I'll get with you after the show, Proud, and I'll let you know. So yeah, it's been a day, but as for the news of the day, guys, as you can imagine, originally I was planning on live streaming that meeting or that hearing today, and I didn't get into a whole lot of doing anything news related today. unfortunately. But I think I had more pressing matters to attend to. Trace, yeah, I did send. I sent you a message on Twitch earlier today, so just if you go to the whispers, you can see it. But yeah, I think all of us were a lot of relieved. So, but I'm going to see if we can't run through a few of the news articles. I heard that Trump was going to be on, and I wish I would have been on, but I wasn't. So I apologize, guys. I don't even know what was covered. So yeah, so yeah, there's there's a few different articles that we can run through. There's an Estonian scientist that was sentenced after being caught spying for the Chinese. That's one thing that we can discuss a little bit. There we go. So yeah, if somebody recorded it, I will check real quick with Signal on Signal. That'd be nice to catch it. But yeah. There was a shooting in Colorado, and we already know what the agenda, the playbook's going to be with that one. They're going to use that to push more false narratives in regards to further their gun control agenda, which everybody knows HR1 is in the Senate now. So there had to be a shooting to justify it. So now I think they're going to try pushing it really strong. And how we doing today, Jason? You're muted, my man.
Yeah, I was.
So
Gotta love it. All right. I've been watching along while I was in the middle of throwing the back seat back in a truck. So thanks for understanding. First things first, did you guys hear what our lovely government has spent on housing illegal immigrants in a hotel?
like $860 million.
86 million.
86 million.
$72,000 a person.
That's better accommodations than even our veterans get.
And Psaki was asked about that.
And what did she say?
Well, when Biden found out about it, we offered our assistance as best we could.
Well, yeah, giving 5-star accommodations to people. Yeah, that is. I mean, if you're going to do that for illegal aliens and you're not going to do that for our own soldiers, what does that say about the commander in chief?
It's priorities, man. Right, King. Me, they can't even do that for homeless veterans.
And
$6 million, you could stand up on the entire building.
This just came across the wire. Illegal immigrants to receive $4.38 billion in stimulus checks.
How? They don't claim taxes.
but they need our money more than we do. So I mean, come on. When you want your blood to boil, just turn on just turn on the news.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Unbelievable.
it's absolutely crazy. Another thing this is actually good for the country. Kristi Noem announces National Coalition to Protect Fairness in Women's Sports. She just called a special session to address stuff in women's sports. So we're hoping to see that go through. It gets better. Right around the 30th, the hardcore gangs are coming. Yeah. Well, if I can get the money put together, I'll be headed for the southern border. So yeah. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But
Brett Lighter. Sorry.
well, if it's a dual presidency, can't Trump do something? Go, Jason.
So, being that he's controlling one portion and Biden's controlling the other, the way I believe that they have it set up is they have to discuss between each of them, and the one who has the portion that they're in charge of, would be the one who gets final say. And unfortunately, he's running our country into the ground.
As far as putting militia together, unfortunately, under current regulations and current laws, if we were to do that without the sanction of a certain, without being granted the ability as a deputy, we couldn't do nothing about it. We couldn't detain or anything like that. So
unfortunately, it's just going to continue to get worse and worse.
yeah,
I mean, even with Trump having partial power, there's only so much he can do. His hands are tied for certain things.
Did you see that comment?
No, yeah. Yeah, I wish it was AstraZeneca.
Never get a notice. How long have you guys been on? We've only been on for about 14 minutes, and Jason's been on for maybe 5. So
yeah, Jason's always late.
Could get landowners to hire people to protect their land. Absolutely, that is part of their rights.
I would not, but the way that their land works, I think that there's like a 15-foot easement that they don't necessarily control.
Yeah, that's the land right there on the border, but anything beyond that that's not accurate.
Correct. The land right at the border. I think it's so. If this is the border, 15 feet in, I don't think that. I mean, they may own it, but they don't
have easement. They don't have access to that land, and it's actually 55 feet.
Okay.
Because it has to be there has to be a road, the ability to put a road in right there along the border.
So think about this. You put somebody, even if you put people 10 feet apart from each other at 55 feet away from the border itself, they're not going to see a ton at night unless you want to outfit them with night goggles, night vision, and this, that, and the other. And then again, who's going to pay for it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. The answer is no. No, there was no indication on VP.
Okay. There. We're having a lot of prison flights. So
Yeah, it's not a good situation to be in right now. It really isn't. And now that, did you guys see Project Veritas's pictures?
yeah, now they are going to get a lot of media scrutiny, and it's just going to get really, really bad now.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that we're gonna see some major action happening on our southern border.
So we're seeing a lot of movement across the board. Just like Wink said, and about a bunch of people posted this today on Signal, was Monkeyworks' report today, which he never does an hour long, and he was on there for an hour, and there was a ton of movement across the board.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's going on. I've been out of touch, so I'm just kind of allowing you to, as I'm scrolling through everything that I missed out on.
Yeah, there was quite a bit. Mom, what is the point in dual presidency if Trump can stop the destruction of our country? The long-term portion of this is to bringing him back in. And we may have some fallout in the short term with this border crisis that's going on and all these EOs that Biden has signed and everything else. But I don't think the recovery time from that is going to be very long. I think it's going to be fairly quick. Alpha, New Mexico and Arizona ranches that run on the border are told if illegals cross their ranch and the ranchers have to leave. What? The ranchers have to leave out fresh water for them to allow them through their ranch.
I think we found ground zero.
I somebody. No, sorry. What is going to get really bad? The border situation is going to get really bad. Biden's condition is going to get really bad. And I think as Trump starts to come in, there will be a lot of changes. And it should be fairly quick. Yes, there's been a lot of P8 action on the West Coast. There's been a lot of P3 action on the West Coast as of recently, King Me. There's been a lot of helicopter action also down by San Diego, right on the border there. There's been quite a bit, plus what he was talking about today in the Atlantic.
But yeah, in regards to the trip, I think there's gonna. I think I might just make a couple shirts that will help fund my trip down to the border.
Yeah.
But it just came on this live. Yeah, guys, we try to leave people with a positive note. We want people to hear what's actually going on in real life and out in the world. And yeah, there's the reality is it's depressing sometimes, but
We
it's better
have a
to
lot. I'm
it's
sorry,
better
go
to
ahead.
leave on a high note than try to start it out on a high note, give all the and then give the doom and gloom and stop on the doom and gloom.
Yeah,
So
so there's a lot of nights that we've got tons and tons and tons of good news. And there's other nights like tonight where it's just disgust. It absolutely disgusts you, unfortunately. Um, I know you guys are commenting quite a bit. Let me kind of go back a little bit. I will. I don't know if you guys have noticed it or not, but as days go on, Trump is getting more and more boisterous and much more out there in media, and media is accepting him a lot more now. It seems like to me.
yeah, I'm trying to. I'm gonna just keep going, and I'm gonna see if I can't figure out about this interim county thing, this court hearing.
Norini, are you guys saying Trump can get back in somehow? I hope that's what somebody's saying. I would love that. So if you go back to yesterday's show, I announced that right now we're under a dual presidency. Biden and Trump are together in this. They each own portions. What portions specifically, I don't know. My assumption is Biden everyday duties, Trump major, military moves, things like that. Um, Putin and Trump, we believe, are working together. There is the Arizona court, Wisconsin court, Michigan court. North Carolina, I believe, has a court case going on, and Georgia that has a court case going on. And if those get decertified, then Biden's lead is reduced below Trump's lead or Trump's votes, and would then they would have to put Trump in and pull Biden out. Patriot Lady, Biden and Kamala need to be held accountable for the spread of COVID and deaths of these immigrants. I think once we get a legitimate government in, you're going to see a lot of that type of thing happening. Sorry guys, I don't mean to depress anybody. It's just one of those days where the stuff that we have is super uplifting. I know it's rough, but
So yeah, I'm just running through to see what I can find in regards to the hearing today.
so King Me Monkey said that there was a missing Russian sub that they lost contact with in Mediterranean Sea. I'm going to tell you guys in all honesty, with the experience with the technology that I knew, there's no way they lost contact with it, period. The U.S. has got such ridiculous technology. It is probably a media prank to get them to feel free to do what they're going to do and let the Department of Defense move in with what they need to do.
Ooh, this is kind of humorous, and it should make people laugh. Creepy former DOJ prosecutor Glenn Kirshner, connected to the Seth Rich case, now wants every business in America to pledge that the 2020 election was accurate. Yeah. Oh, Gateway Pundit's pretty humorous in regards to this. Um, a former federal prosecutor, Glenn Krishner, has launched a campaign to force every business in America to take a pledge that states, in part, the 2020 presidential election was free and fair and produced accurate and reliable results. Any any American business refusing to take this pledge, regardless of their own personal beliefs, will presumably be subjected to the cancel mob. I mean, what the crap are these guys thinking they're gonna do? I mean, seriously, when we sit here on the cusp of watching states decertify and actually yank and actually hold people accountable for their election of duty. I mean, I think it's gonna be kind of funny.
Yeah, it's basically it's the same thing as everything else that's going on. I mean, they're gonna just keep canceling things. You either see their way, or they're gonna try and run you off the road.
When they call to ask me to do that, I'll be like,
Pound sand.
yeah, I'll be like, yeah, I have an agreement with you in one aspect that it was definitely an election and it was chock full of fraud. But I mean, who thinks when they start sending out wannabe has-beens from a foregone era called the Obama presidency, and they're out there pushing this agenda, I think it just shows what kind of a I think it just shows what all is happening. They're seeing the destruction of their own coalitions. So they're releasing shot in the air and making people nuts. Yeah. So but yeah, in regards to the Seth Rich case, I found this kind of interesting because buried in this article, it talks about attorney Ty Clevenger trying to obtain documents in regards to Seth Rich's case. And yeah, it was labeled a robbery, but nothing was stolen. The murders were never caught and they appeared to be covered up. Here's something that he said. He uncovered documents regarding Seth Rich that DOJ had denied having for many years. Well, since the 2016 election.
Are you talking about the Russia gate or the Russia thing?
Yeah, when they were talking about Hillary Clinton's emails.
Yeah.
Clevenger found out that former U.S. or Assistant U.S. Attorney Deborah Sines was on record noting that Seth Rich's computer had been investigated by the FBI after his death. This was never confirmed before, and it turned out Sines reported to Glenn Krishner at the DOJ. So now a lot of the stuff is starting to come out in regards to like Seth Rich and all that. We're starting to see stuff coming out about Seth Rich, and I think that's a good thing.
Kat asked, how far do I think that Trump will let this go? I think we're within months. And when I say
I don't even think it's going to get more than a couple months out.
Right.
somebody will want to post the live in the Signal group because somebody's looking for me. Did I hear the DOJ lost Hunter's laptop? Is that true? Yes. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, when it comes to Bureau, I think most of the boot kickers are really good, but when it comes to the upper echelon, you're talking kleptocrats all the way through.
There's tons of backups to it, though. That's the thing. You're going to see it's going to pop up out of the clear blue.
Well, the contents of his laptop are already out on the internet.
Well, yes and no. Not all of it. Do you think when his website goes up that something's going to happen? I honest to God, that was my very first knee-jerk reaction when I heard he was standing up a whole new social media site.
They didn't lose it. They got rid of it. They destroyed it. Yeah, that's the way it goes. They maybe WikiLeaks has what's on it.
Guys, I'm telling you, you don't want to see what's on it. It is ridiculously disturbing.
Is a copy admissible in court? No. That's why it had to be destroyed. Unless it's a forensic copy. And there has to be a detailed chain of custody. So right. But but they have to have court orders and they have to have forensic documents and everything has to be forensic backups. Just having a regular backup doesn't cut it. It needs to be a forensic.
Yeah, so proud. What are being called the originals could be thrown out of court as saying, yeah, they've made it online, but we don't know that that's 100% of an original.
Yeah. You saw a bit, you wish you hadn't. Yeah, same here. And guys, I've seen a lot more than most people have. Some of the pictures that I saw that came off of that laptop are horrifying. So
right.
Why can't they prove that it was messed with? Because there's too many programs out there now that you can alter a picture and leave no trace. Timestamps, everything, you can modify them. Yeah, it's pretty easy. So he gets away with it and is rewarded with a great job. Well, I think his time's coming.
And makes millions with it.
Yeah, but I think his time's coming. There's a few details that people are not really getting a whole lot of. See, Hunter Biden used to be in the military.
And he got court-martialed.
He used to carry a clearance. And one thing that a lot of people don't realize is just because you're out of the military, they can call you back.
Right.
And they can prosecute you. And I think that might just happen.
Testimony is testimony. It's not as damning as the actual footage.
Were Obama's girls involved with Hunter? There's some speculation. Actually, it's a little bit more than speculation, but we're without really getting into too many details. We'll just leave that there.
Obamas have no
Moral compass.
at all. Put it that way.
Yeah, there are some sick people. Um, sorry guys, if when we answer a question, remind me to put it up on the screen. There are some people that are getting frustrated because they can't see the questions, and they're getting hard. It's confusing for them.
The YouTube people. Sorry.
Yeah. So send Hunter to Ukraine. No,
No way.
he just go over there and live like a fat cat.
Right.
So
No, we need to deal with him here, and without Biden in power, really, what needs to happen is Pelosi, Schumer, Biden, Harris, um, and I'm sure there's more than that. They all need to be brought up on treason and be done with. I mean, it's getting to the point where it's just absolutely disgusting.
yeah, it's horrifying to see some of the stuff that's going on. Simo, the Gitmo.
I would only want that temporarily.
You know that there's only one place that I think they would really thrive really, really well. And that's the 5th floor of ADX Camp Florence. Silent hell.
No. You know what I'd want to do with them?
Take them out back.
No, take it to Epstein's Island and turn on to them what they had done to others.
That would be where's Feinstein? You know, she's probably cooking up the next mass shooting event so she can push her HR1.
You know, Kat, it's funny you bring up Cuomo. He just got audio tape of mob-like action. So now they're saying that may put them over the edge with him. You want me to feel that? Or you want to
go for it?
So the last
real quick. So
the last I've seen was that the military action, they're loading in still. There has not been from the U.S. side any action as of recent. However, Russia, Syria, and Iraq are moving into an area. I don't remember what area it is right now, and setting up. So if somebody doesn't get that under control soon, we're going to have some problems going on in there too. Squirrely says, but the blue pills haven't seen enough to be disgusted. I really think that so deeply embedded in that world that they don't care. They don't think I think that they think that they're above getting caught.
You know how you take them to Epstein's Island and pull this, stone them with all the victims.
Yeah,
go old school.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm reading comments here. My eyes are getting. What do you think about Vice Pelosi? We want to put up number. Yeah, thank you. The way I'm reading this is, and Narini, if I'm wrong, please correct me. Is what do I think about Pelosi trying to overturn the Iowa Republican position that's in the House. I think that Pelosi, again, thinks that she is above and beyond any reach of any law and is going to do whatever she wants to do, however she wants to do it. Again, this is just another situation where, as they complete these crimes and just build these cases against themselves.
And quite honestly, guys, when you look at it, they're saying, "Oh, there's no chance of voter fraud. There's nothing to do with voter fraud," but yet they are willing to, on a 6 vote, they're willing to overturn an election. Think about this: they're willing to overturn an election, and what do they claim? Well, there was a potentiality for fraud, so we're thinking about overturning this. Well, guys, you can't have your
Cake and eat it.
yeah. To do that, you just make yourselves look like a bunch of asshats. And excuse the French, but when you're going out there and saying that there's no fraud, and then you go out there and you say that there's fraud. Come on, which one is it? Either you have fraud or you don't. Is it only fraud when Republicans do it? Or is it fraud when just the Democrats do it? Or could there be fraud on both sides of the election? They really need to get their story straight.
Kami, wasn't that Russia, Turkey, and Iran moving into Syria? I don't think that's what it is. I think it's Russia, Syria, and Iran moving into Damascus. I could be wrong though, or getting ready to move into Damascus.
They're amassing on the borders.
Right. I'm not 100% sure enough to create the argument, but that's what I think it is. I could be wrong. Proud. People are really going to be upset when they wake up and have to find out. They're just gonna want to have their own justice. I think this whole country is going to be like that. Even those who are involved in learning ahead of time, the frustration level is ridiculously high right now in the country.
Is there no way to stop Pelosi? What I think would, under Iowa law, I think if they tried to seat this other woman, the governor can recall that lady and say, "No, you weren't duly elected." And if they refuse a seat, then automatically there creates a constitutional crisis. So I don't think Pelosi's going to do something, but if she does, I think the governor of Iowa will step in and say, "Nope, you're not going to Washington." Nice try, though.
Shane, did you find out about Arizona?
Yeah, I'm going to discuss it here in a second, but I thought you'd get a kick out of that one.
Yeah. Oh, that woman, she's a crackhead as far as I'm concerned. She's another one that I just can't stand.
Arizona doing something about their audit. Yes, their audit starts Friday. This Friday, their audit is a hand signature verification and a hand count audit. And what they're also doing is they're actually looking at handwriting analysis as well. And I found that kind of interesting because there are certain ballots that have write-ins and different, like Jason, you and I could fill in the same bubble, but the way we fill it in will be different and it'll actually show different.
Mm-hmm.
So they're actually going to compare that as well. And if there's exact matches, those will be tossed.
Right.
So
It's
I think it's going to be a interesting
yeah.
thing.
So proud just and I just jumped a bunch of comments. So if I didn't get to yours, I apologize, Shane. Hopefully you can get through these to where I am proud right now. She asked if if I knew that there's a huge evil presence in Chicago. There is multiple levels of evil here in Chicago. Um, Depending on what and how you want to discuss evil. If you're talking about the guy downstairs, it's here. You're talking about just evil people, it's here. You're talking about evil political, it's here. This city and this state as a whole has a ton of problems with it.
Can Congress kick out Representative Green? Yeah, but they can refuse to seat her, or they can unseat her and send it back to the state. If the state sends it back, then if they refuse to seat her, then there will be a constitutional crisis. Because if somebody goes back and then they send her back again, it would be a big no not to sit one of the representatives. So are they taking down the fencing around the Capitol? No, they're just moving it closer.
They're moving it closer, but they're also opening up traffic.
Yep. So
traffic patterns. Let's put it that way. Again, I'm a little bit further down than you. Huge, much bigger. Again, huge, much bigger than anything in most areas. Proud. I know of forest preserves that get filled with people. It's that big. I mean, full on forest preserves getting filled with people. It's stupid how big it is here. King Me, did you find anything out about the guys firing governor of Illinois? So I was sent a video of two gentlemen who were at the state capitol trying to ask for Pritzker's letter of resignation. I think that was on Sunday, March 5th. And the only thing that I was able to find is they were trying to get a movement behind them to do the same thing as Newsom and gather enough votes. And because Illinois is fairly strong blue, and a lot of people are still, behind Pritzker. They just haven't gotten burned enough by him yet, I guess. Proud, not politically negative presence and evil beings underground. Like I said, proud that it's huge here. It's effing ridiculous how big it is here. There's a woods called Schiller Woods that's closer to the city limits that there's been rituals at for years and years and years and years and years and years. Cops are scared to go in there after dark. That's how bad it is.
Talking about portals on Earth, there's been discussions of that kind of stuff for several decades.
And guys, I can't comment to gateways or portals or things like that. I can't because I don't know. But what I can tell you is the amount between here and Milwaukee, you're probably upwards 400,000 or 500,000 people. That's how bad.
That's on the light side.
It's bad. It's really, really, really bad. So
But okay, so running up at the 50-minute mark.
we need to kind of break away from this heavy stuff. I'm kind of getting way down. My vibrations.
Oh, move that moneymaker.
So I need to clear up the air a little bit. It's a little heavy.
Well, the only thing heavy is when I step on the scale and it says 1 at a time, please.
Yeah. Yeah. You got some room to go.
I
You
know.
still got room to go. Listen, I've got the insulation.
You got the insulation, and I have a lot worse than insulation.
Oh no. My only problem is the blood pressure medicine. Like midday, I'll start to get a little chill. You know, and seeing a 6 foot, 280 pound guy with a blanket around him is just weird. With a sweatshirt on.
Pretty soon they're going to be asking you. So I'm just curious, how are the days up in the Scottish Wales? Peaches, I know there's a group that you can get a consult for that. I think it's for a fee basis.
Mad Dominican, you're right. And there's definitely no drowning here. The storm that's coming, it's going to be huge. It takes time.
On the positive side of things, you have lots of buoyancy.
Oh, I almost don't need a floaty.
You almost don't need a floaty?
Yes.
Oh. It's kind of funny. So I was talking to a lady, and we were discussing a job, and she's like, I know you know how to do this, but I'm just curious. How is it that a guy your size can carry a full steel tub? I said, ma'am, you haven't seen my leg, have you? She's like, what do you mean? I said, well, when you have 2 tree trunks of for legs, you can lift a lot of weight.
Yeah.
She turned and looked at me. She said, well, if you had tree trunks for legs, you wouldn't be moving. It's like, whoops, bad analogy.
Yeah. Guys, so I'm reading the comments as Shane's talking, and after everything that's been discussed already, it's all of us that are here right now have lived through probably the largest or the most important time in the world of history. Meaning there's going to be so much history that's written about the times that we've lived in. I don't know how old anybody is, and I'm not asking anybody, okay? But let's just talk about from 1970 to today, how much history there has been. The Vietnam War, you've got the president being shot, dying, blah, 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 blah. All that across the board, just that period of time. I mean, it's ridiculous. In 50 years, there's been more history available and lived through in this 50-year period of time than some couple hundreds of years period of time. So we're blessed to be able to experience it.
Yeah. When you start talking about the 70s, that's like a time before I was.
Oh, shush it.
So I'm sorry.
Shush
You're
it.
kind of barking up the wrong tree here.
It's just a figure of
I know.
just a time period.
Yeah. No, it's kind of funny because everybody's like, "How old are you?"
You were born in like 84, weren't you?
I wish I was that old.
Oh
Try
wait, no, I know
try
you were born in
90.
87.
Try 90.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm just a little baby.
Yeah, you didn't get to see a lot of it or experience a lot of it.
No, I didn't. So, but yeah, it's kind of funny because people ask me, "Well, how old are you? You have the experience?" I said, "Yeah, I'm kind of an old soul." So, yeah, people are just now figuring out how old I am. It's
Yep.
kind of funny. See,
Yep.
I'm not the youngest, unless she's saying 1892, but I don't think she's saying that.
So, guys, listen. History, even you, Shane, that you've seen in your lifetime.
Yeah, it's funny that um dang Shane, you're a baby. My oldest is a few years older than you. Yeah, I know. There are a few of us, and I think I so welcome to. I don't know that I've ever seen you before on here, but welcome. I'm glad I'm not the only young gun here. Um, yeah, I just it's always interesting to see other people your age, especially ones that are interested in getting to know like politics and actually getting into politics and debating and all that stuff. Having a kiddo ages, yeah, I have four of them, so and soon to be seven. So, yeah, graduated high school in 1990. Yeah, I mean there are a few of us youngins on here, but and people, if you don't believe how young I am, just go find me on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook. It's a picture of my wife and I, and you think I'm just kind of out there when I'm talking about how young I am, but I'm okay with that. I studied a lot of history and a lot of different things in my life. So, oh, you Cabbage Patch dolls. You know, I remember those. Believe it or not, I actually I've seen those before. So it was for a faint time, but yes, I did remember seeing those. My sisters had them. And they're so very true. Just look up Shane Sipe on Facebook and you'll find me. So yeah, there Pogs. Yep, I got into Pogs. Um, anybody who's wondering if I remember milking the milking pails and stuff like that, yes, I remember those because I grew up on a farm. So the old Atari, the N64, the
Wait. Time out. The old Atari 2600.
the very first Atari that came out. So my
You
cousins
could
out
not
in
have gotten
Ohio.
it new.
What's that?
You could not have gotten it new.
No, some cousins out in Ohio actually had one. So every time we'd go out there, I always thought it was crazy because I grew up without a TV in my home, so no video game consoles, no nothing. So every time we'd go out there, I'd get to see all these video games like the Sega, the Atari, all these different things. So yeah, I kind of got the Commodore 64. That's another classic. But yeah, the very first game that I ever played on the Sega was Metal Gear Solid. So yeah, Oregon Trail, played that on my very first Apple computer, and that was back in '96. So yeah, makes you use your brain. Yes, it does. There's a reason I'm able to do a lot of what I do. I'm That's a trip. So I remember first grade. So I had a teacher by the name of Mrs. Street in my first grade class, and our computer teacher was Mrs. Cowherd. That was her name, and she wanted to teach all of us kids how to code. So we would play this frog game. I can't remember what it was, what the actual name was, but you would actually have to code to make the frog go across, kind of like Frogger. So yeah. So yeah, I have a lot of fun reminiscing a little bit about the past.
Yeah, see, I didn't get into a whole lot of those. I had a Atari 2600, and then that was it for a long, long time. I was an outside kid.
Well, see, we were forced to be outside most of the time, but when we would go visit the cousins, oh, trust me, we were glued to the TV. Like it was a foreign thing for us.
I was raised in the time where you still had to put aluminum foil on rabbit's ears or stand there and hold them while your parents yelled at you just a little bit further. You no, too far. And I was the remote for the TV.
Yeah. Son, get up and go turn that dial just one more notch. I know we only have three, so you just turn it to the right, turn it to the left.
Oh yeah, mine was click click and then a little dial on the inside to fine tune it to watch TV.
Yeah. Riding bikes with no helmets.
Mm-hmm. Drinking water from the garden hose.
Yeah. I think there's a country song about that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so we grew up. We have beef cows, so I learned at a very young age that chores were done in the morning, and you went out and you fed the before you went to school. You fed the cows. You went in. You fed the cows. You fed the chickens. You fed the horses, the llamas, and then you'd go in and eat your breakfast. Make sure all your homework was done, take a shower, and then go to school. So, riding on the tailgate. How about shooting prairie chickens with shotguns from a moving truck sitting in the back, or not even sitting, just standing in the back as the truck's flying down the road. I never experienced any party line phones. I know Jason might have, but I never. Never had to deal with anything in regards to the street lights and all that stuff coming in with the street lights. We had nothing to do with street lights. We lived way out in the middle of the boondocks. Jason, you're talking, but you're not. We can't hear you. Oh, you had to milk a goat?
My kids.
Have you ever been snipe hunting? No, but I've taken plenty of people.
I got
Plenty of
caught
coolest
in-
city slickers. We would do that to them left and right. We'd have city kids that came out to stay at the farm, and we'd ask them if they want to go snipe hunting. We'd take them out in the back 40 with a old gunny sack and a flashlight. Tell them to sit there in the dark, and as soon as they caught one, just quick grab it and bring it up to the house.
Whenever I got part of Boy Scouts was being taken out for snipe hunting, and what they did was they tied a coffee can with a rock in the middle of it, and they dragged that along in the middle of the dark and not leave you with a flashlight. So you'd have to try and find the coffee can in the middle of the night. And let me tell you how many things you would trip over.
Oh yeah, and constantly have it moving.
Yep.
Girls grew up riding in a car to car shows in the back of a '69 El Camino. Oh, 94 Buick Roadmaster Estate wagon. Those were classics. So, yeah, guys, growing up, I got to experience a lot of fun stuff that a lot of people wouldn't. Jumping. See, I never did this. I never jumped out of a barn loft, but I did jump off the shed.
Can I sell your iWatch, or you can actually use it?
I'm kind of live, man.
Oh.
just so you know, I'm live. Go for it.
You don't want it?
Go for it.
Are you serious?
What are you doing? That so stinks.
I'm using bleach on t-shirts.
Oh,
Supposedly it's the
new one thing.
trend.
64 and a half. Snave, your first car was a 64 and a half. Guess what? That was my third car. 64 and a half Mustang. Number 12 off the assembly line. That is that is my favorite car, and we still have it sitting on the blocks at my dad's place. So yeah, you get one completely restored. It was salmon pink.
70 and a half Camaro. Split
So-
bump. First car, 84 Thunderbird.
This would have been unique, or this is very unique. Grew up in the funeral home business, so we played in the funeral home and had sleepovers. That is creepy. I don't know that I'd be able to do it, but yeah, I'm sure somebody had a ball. I could just about imagine. Where are we gonna sleep? Just pop open a casket.
All right, guys. Speaking of first cars, I need to go help my son put his back together and go take it for a ride for what we did tonight. So I need to jump off. You guys could go all night. I will jump on and listen as best I can, but I got to get some stuff done before it gets too late. It's already dark here, so I got to work in flashlights.
Yeah. Well, guys, we've been on for 1 hour. I know this last couple. Told you we were going to end it with a little bit of fun, kind of get everybody out of the craziness. But guys, like I always say, you have a pen and a microphone, use them. The silent majority can no longer stay silent. God bless you guys. God bless the United States of America. We will see you at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Everybody have a great night.